Good morning. Thank you for coming, everybody. As Steve said, I'm expecting some people to walk in, but do not be distracted. We must concentrate on today's topic. Because we're supposed to end at 11, is that right, Steve? 11:15. We're gonna pick up and go. All right. So today, as I mentioned last night, we're going to be talking about the 6 fundamental world beliefs. What is a worldview? What is a worldview? It's the basic suppositions a human has about reality. Like, does God exist? Is there spiritual things, or is there no God? Was I born from a rock? That kind of thing. And it motivates them to perform or avoid particular actions. Like, if I believe that I always have a demon walking around with me on my right side, I might always talk to my left side, or something like that. So it motivates you in different ways. I'm not saying that's one of them, but let's continue. Worldviews are not your denomination. Are you Catholic? Are you a Seventh Adventist? Are you an atheist? I would describe atheism as a denomination. It's not that. Sorry. Atheism would be a worldview, though. It is not how you were raised, and it's not your demographic. Like, you have a different perspective of the world based on how you're raised and where you're born, that sort of thing. But that's not your worldview. Worldview to us is just your fundamental understanding of what reality is. So why do we define it? Worldviews need to be defined because it's kind of a foggy term, and it's used a little bit loosely out in the world of writing and documentary and that sort of thing. Sometimes people say the Jewish worldview during Nazi Germany was this, but we're going to be talking specifically about the fundamental perspective of what reality is only. My clicker not working. Am I supposed to be pointing this in a particular location? There we go. So we're going to be breaking through a lot of disclaimers. If you say to somebody, "Do you believe in God?" they might say, "Yes," and then they give you this whole spiel about why they believe that. Or you might say to a Mormon, for example, "Do you think that there's going to be different ranks in heaven?" And they would say, let me explain that. So we're going to jump past all of the "let me explain that" part, and we're going to get right down to the core of it and throw away all of the fluffy stuff that people try to hand us to make themselves not sound crazy sometimes. So we're going to jump through all the stuff that preachers would say, or gurus, priests, and scientists, and philosophers, and society, and the media. I'm going to be straight with you today. So these are the 6 fundamental worldviews. There is naturalism, pantheism, fatalism, determinism, the appeasement worldview, and the warfare worldview. We're going to look at each of these, not extremely in depth, but we're going to well define them so that you can learn what they are, and then we're going to give you a handout at some point during this meeting so that you don't have to try to memorize everything yourself. Naturalism. This is the kind of poster that a naturalist would have on their wall. The idea that man came from an ape, and then an ape came from a dog or a simian, and then all the way down to that came from a fish, and all the way down to that came from an amoeba, and all the way down to that came from a crystal forming on an ice crystal or something like that. They're also known as materialists, or naturalism is also known as materialism. And that's the idea that the universe is governed by only natural law, that everything started out gaseous or something, and then began to compress, and things were formed from that way. So it's self-generated by evolution. We are self-generated to a naturalist. No spiritual or moral dimension exists, so if you are an atheist, you don't believe in ghosts, for example. No. And most naturalists are atheists, but not all. There are some interesting exceptions. The next worldview is pantheism, and this is a poster that a pantheist might have on their wall. I am one with the universe, and the universe is in me. The reason that Eastern religions actually bow to each other when they meet, or you walk up and see two guys do that little nod thing, is not because they're bowing to each other physically, they're bowing to each other's divinity inside of them. A lot of them don't even know that's what they actually originally were believing, but that's like why. Pantheism. The word means, or it comes from pan, which means all, and then theos means God, so pantheism, all is God. God is everything. That means we're God, and we worship ourselves, and we also worship nature, and so that's pantheism. Nature is the highest reality, and morals are basically just for the greater good. In naturalism, if you have morals, or if you don't sleep around, or if you don't kill somebody, it's because there is a chemical understanding that has arrived in our mind after many years of evolution that is designed to preserve the species or something. But it's been said in different atheistic circles that some of the crazier tendencies of the human race, like rape and that sort of thing, is actually beneficial for the race because it forces propagation. But a pantheist says morals are there from some other source, that there's this bigger meaning behind it. That's pantheism. Fatalism. This is an appropriate picture for fatalism because fatalism means there's only one way. If you get on a roller coaster, at least I've never seen or heard of or been on a roller coaster that has a track that goes like that, and you have like a choice, and you're sitting in the front, and you go, or something like that. That'd be cool. But really, when you get on a roller coaster, you go, and then pretty soon you're done. So there's no free will in fatalism. You have a destiny, so you have no choice. You have no ability to choose. Every choice that you think you're making, like I chose to come up here and stand on the stage instead of running back and hiding in the bathroom crying next to the toilet. I came up here, but that in fatalism is just because I had to. It was designed that way, and I feel like I'm making a choice, but really it was going to happen that way anyway. It also causes the word fatality. So if you hear somebody say, there was a fatality on the highway, the word comes from the fatalistic worldview, and that means it was their time to go. So, and some forms of fatalism have gods or spirits involved, but not all. And others say that the events align with the cosmos. So the idea of astrology comes from this fatalistic worldview. If there is a particular order to the way things are going, and only one way it's going to happen, maybe we can look up in the stars and see a little bit into the future because we can see them before they finish continuing on their course, that sort of thing. So that's where astrology comes from. Determinism is basically like fatalism, except God makes you get on the roller coaster. And he tells you have to be on there, and you have no choice. So it's God who's doing all of that. I think this is a funny picture. Get on the roller coaster. But basically, it's Christianized fatalism. All of the events are predetermined by the sovereign will of God. It's also called predestination or Calvinism in some circles. And all of the good and the bad come from God, which means that if you are getting a divorce, it was God's will. But also, if you get a raise, it was God's will. Everything that happens in your life, in a way you're not accountable for because it was God's will. He was the one who designed it that way. And so you can continue living your life guilt-free, which is great for determinists. The appeasement worldview is a very, very popular worldview. Anytime you see somebody like crawling up steps on their knees and kissing each step, or doing a rosary, for example, they would fall into the category of the appeasement worldview, which means basically, well, God is wrathful sometimes. If you do good, God or the gods will love you, and if you do bad, he will smite you. So this is the idea where God is like an evil, mean jerk sometimes comes from. People go on pilgrimages to appease their God, whoever their God is. It doesn't have to be only the God of the Bible, for example. It can also be